Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for the judging of our chili cook-off event to be held next Saturday. We're getting ready to get started. I will let the judges introduce themselves while I go get the first chili. Thank you.
I'm Ged Falsich with the Deli Corner, in desperate need of a haircut. Excited to be here tasting some chili.
My name is Courtney Kinsley, and I'm the events coordinator at the Country Club of Spartanburg.
And my name is Chris Olson. I'm with Hub City Hospitality, and you know us as Willie Taco Flock Shop and Freight Yard. And I'm starving, so I'm looking forward to this next half hour.
Yeah, I had an Impossible Burger around 12:30. I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Been in and out of the house, and I think the last thing I had was some kind of silly yogurt and berry crunch around 2, and that lasted about a half hour. Impossible Burger.
We tried Reed's.
it's called Reed's.
I want to say it's Reed's.
Okay.
Reed's Fine Foods,
Where are they located?
downtown Greenville,
Oh,
right
Greenville.
on Washington. Street.
Okay.
Sorry, I guess that might be.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Sore subject.
No,
I swear I
not-
went before I knew you. so.
Not at all. Greenville's exciting, but I'm at that point in my life. I'm like, I'm kind of liking this tempo Spartanburg.
Listen, there's many an evening I'll come home from work and my wife and I will be like, yeah, let's go to Greenville tonight. And by the time we're ready and it's like 7:30, we're like, yeah, stay here, just stay in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a commute.
Yeah, and then it's a commitment, especially if you're going downtown.
Right.
You know.
Yes, yeah.
We love park
Door to door for me to leave out and get parking spots, is a solid hour.
Yeah,
Hello.
Yeah.
Does anybody need anything to drink?
I'm good with water.
Thank you.
Is that disappointing?
Thank you.
or-
Yeah.
A little bit.
You can bring me. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
Stick with water.
All right.
Should we go ahead?
Mhm.
Ready to
Go ahead.
go?
Ready
Okay.
to go?
This is harder than I thought.
Ask you a question on aftertaste. Is that aftertaste, is that seen as a positive thing or?
think it means whatever you want. So like if it's got a good aftertaste and it lingers and you don't mind it, then, you know, you can give it high marks. If that aftertaste kind of lingers and you're like, all I can taste is like the onions in it and that aftertaste is not very good, then you give that one kind of a lower score. And unfortunately, it's all subjective to you. But you're welcome. You're welcome. Are we done with the first one?
Okay. Jump with that.
I thought it had like consistency. And relatively like mild flavor. I did like the addition of, I'm not sure what was up, like, was it green chilies on top? What were the? I think I remember green chilies. I've never seen that chili before. So that was an addition. Overall, I would give it a score. What are your thoughts?
Right.
Similar thoughts. I thought it was a solid product. There weren't any waves to it. It was pretty consistent. But it no notes, and to me, it lacked a little bit of kick, a little bit of a spice, and I would like to see a little bit more tomato. Overall, it was good. It's just for me, it needed a little bit of a kick. Spice.
Yeah, I'd agree with both of y'all. I would say the same. My notes were, I thought it seemed a little, and again, you know, we're sitting here tasting it, and somebody worked hard on it all day, so I want to be mindful of that, but it did seem a little bland. Could have used a little heat. Also thought it was, at least for me, when the comment you made about aftertaste, didn't, you know, it pretty much finished clean, but it's pretty fatty. You know, I got that film left over that's kind of like, I don't mind a little bit my chili, but I don't, you know, I don't want it to be a 70-30 ground beef not drained.
Yeah,
You know? So
yeah.
it's kind of, but overall, I thought it could have had a little more kick to it, a little more chili powder flavor too.
These ones are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating chili, that's kind of nice at school in here.
Yeah.
It's hard not to compare. But I feel like I keep referencing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's only natural.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, that is classic chili done well, is how I would describe it. Good balance of chili powder, tomatoes, beans, beef. Beef was strained, so not a lot of fat floating in it. I like, it's just a classic finish too, sour cream, peppers, little cheese.
Mhm.
That's how I like my chili, so. But also try not to look at it from, that's very similar to how we prepare chili, so that's. The first one was different. I enjoyed it, but just didn't prefer it.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree.
But the heat level was good.
For me, it was the perfect amount of heat and spice. I don't
Yeah.
like overly spicy.
Same.
It didn't linger through too much. It was kind of like halfway through, you started to get the heat, and it finished real nicely. I thought I could use a little bit more tomato. I just think a little bit more tomato, but that's just kind of nitpicking. But I gave it the hard marks and everything else. The first presentation was really, really, really good.
I agree with all of your remarks. Like you had mentioned, the classic chili, it had the soup consistency of what I was really looking for. I thought it had an appropriate level of spice. And you could taste all those delicious onion and tomatoey flavors. I do agree with you, though. I really do love like tomato flavor. So again, high remarks on that one.
Starting to get sad. There's only one more left.
No, you'll have to come back next year when we'll have more teams. A full chili cook-off experience. Ooh, there's some sour cream on the side if you want to put some in there to help dial it down a little bit.
I'm gonna start sweating.
Pepper flake.
I'm a big meat with spice. Wow.
Stirred mine up before taking too good a look. Was that so long? So I still touch.
I really like it.
Mhm.
I think it's really good. Yeah, it can get a hold of you. But
Do you know what kind of cheese? It's like
it's like a, it's like a fresco, like a
Yeah.
crumbly piece of. Making it tough on us now.
Mhm.
I'm in the mistake of making dinner reservations tonight.
Got a lot.
Yeah, I definitely appreciated the spice. It was just a bit too much for my liking. But I loved the team's effort to like bring that added freshness with the bright cheese, herbs.
Interesting how they prepared that meat. It was definitely a different texture. It's good. Hey, did you pick up on that? What
I
did with it?
I don't know, but it was good. It was consistent. It was really good.
My family owns a butcher shop, and they'd be disappointed if I didn't know, but I kind of don't know.
Oh, wow.
I feel bad sending all this food back. I mean,
I know.
I could finish it.
Not really. Maybe it's relative.
Got a little bacon here. Soups. Still got heat from the last go.
Yeah. Same.
Maybe eat a couple of those crackers first and dull some of it down.
This is good.
I think you're the only one that's tried it. While everybody else is still getting rid of that heat. Although I will say, last year the judges told that last team that they wish it would have had more heat. And so they, they took it to heart this year. I don't know if it's the same recipe or not, but I do remember them saying that they wish it had more heat.
have bacon that's here. So my nearsightedness is getting a little squirrely and you don't realize that, how much you like appreciate the food to be in focus. So
Yeah.
Really see what you eat. Texture.
Yeah, amen. I'm embarrassed because the kids at the house are like, hey, look at this. I'm like, hold on. I'm a snacker, so this is my kind of presentation here. Okay. I can sit here and graze on this.
Fortune was right in front of you.
Oh, that is there.
Y'all a couple minutes to talk and decide. We'll come back and check on you.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Harder than I thought.
I don't know if I'm stopped up or what. I didn't get a lot of aroma of any of them. Did y'all? I think it's me.
I mean, there was no aroma that was present when it was set down in front of
Yeah,
You had to
that's,
search
that's,
for it.
that's remarkable. I think on any of them, which is weird. You figure you would probably get some of that for chili.
When you walked into the ballroom, like I could smell the
Yeah.
chili.
Maybe it's how it's served or the temperature, because everything was a touch above lukewarm.
Yeah.
Nothing was piping hot,
Yeah.
so it was,
Mhm.
maybe that's some of the reason why.
For me, the last one, it definitely lacks some spice and some heat. I was a little creamier than I wanted to, than I prefer my chili to be. And a little bit, I got a little bit of sweet in there too.
For sure.
Sweet cream added.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate the, attempt to do it a little different with the sweet. But
The touch of bacon was nice. It was just enough, a little crisp there, a little salty, got a little bit on the spoon. I like that.
For some reason, found myself referring back to like a smoky flavor. I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe the bacon. I did like the creamier, felt like a blanket. I was like literally like wrapping myself in a blanket of chili, which I do appreciate. However, it was just a bit like unbalanced for me. Like I don't have a comment of how it could have been improved. I think just like something like the freshness maybe was missing for me. So it looks like we have to tell our scores.
yeah, and I'll go back to the third one, because I don't know that we really had a chance to talk to that one much. The first one was definitely different and definitely not as much the consistency of what I appreciate in chili. It was kind of more of a topping style consistency. Second one I liked a lot because I thought it was a classic chili done well. But I really like that third one and just, the little bit of a different twist on chili. I like the heat level. I like the flavor a lot. I like the presentation. I have a hard time deciding between, to me, number 2 and 3 is my favorites. Fourth one, again, I agree. I did enjoy the bacon. Did find it to be a little sweeter than I prefer, although I do appreciate the doing it a little bit different. But if I were to lean one direction or another, I do appreciate the attempt to do chili a little different. While I do like number 2, and that's the kind of chili served in my house, I like number 3, and that it was a little more of a Southwestern twist with the flavors. The way I scored it, it was just by point 2 and 3 really clear favorites to me.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm probably leaning to 2 a little bit more. Just the high heat of number 3 kind of, for me, it concealed some of the other flavors that I was hoping to get. So I kind of got into it. The heat sort of took over, and I was really getting the beans and the meat, and because of that high heat. Cilantro was a great touch. It's close. I mean, 2 and 3 are right there for me, neck and neck. 1 great effort, solid product. 4 was a little too creamy for me, creamy and sweet like we talked about. So presentation. Add up our numbers.
I mean, I'm right here with you. 1 was a solid effort. I think just that the consistency kind of off a little bit. with a mild flavor, and I guess stood out specifically, but still a great product, as we said. But I'm kind of echoing every comment that both of y'all have made. 2 and 3 are my favorites as well. I will say I am leaning more towards team number 2's chili, because 3 was a bit spicy for me. But again, appreciated the freshness provided.
Don't feel guilty about doing that. That's the judges every year.
It's good to be sure.
Yes.
So the team C are sheets.
They stay with me.
I guess you get really rough. You got 6 or 8 different chilies that could get. That can get really.
Yeah. They've had to do it easier with the 4.
Most on an in-person year, our average is 10 teams.
Okay. Wow. And have there been incidences where it's hard to come out with a clear winner? Yeah, I would think so.
I think typically, like 3 will stand out
Yeah.
as if I'm gonna pick from these 3. And when you have that many, and then, you know, a lot of times it comes down to personal preference. Well, I liked this one had a lot of spice. I didn't like this one had a lot of spice, but I liked that this one had, you know, the consistency of this one, or the aftertaste of this one was better than that one. And some years it does come down to the numbers, because the judges can't come to any sort of consensus.
Yeah.
Do your numbers reflect what you had discussed?
Yeah, mine do. You guys also.
So we're between team 2 and team 3. Which of those scored higher on your sheets?
Team 2 scored highest on the sheet.
Yeah, team 3 scored slightly higher than team 2. So let's do this real quick, just so we can kind of, so. Yeah, what was your team 2 score?
50,
What was your team 3 score?
46.
What was your team 2 score?
48,
And team 3?
45.
This happens a lot too.
Yeah, so just there, it would be 144 for number 2 and 138 for number 3. And I didn't ask about 4 or 1, but I just assumed that those were less for both y'all, so it would count. I mean, the way I would see it is it's a split decision, but by scoring, it's clear. I did prefer number 3, but my scoring was very tight as y'all's were, but since y'all both preferred number 2, it came out on top. Which I'm good with. I mean, I would take a bowl of that one tonight.
You'll have to come pick it up next week.
Excuse me.
Okay, so reached a decision.
Sure. I'm not gonna twist their arms. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Do they win a prize?
They get an award that's made by our students that says
Awesome.
Judge's Choice Award winner on it.
Cool.
And then they'll hang it in their office or in their house somewhere, but our students make it for them, so
Very cool.
it makes it real special.
So,
That's their only prize, and the fact that, you know,
yeah,
they're
bragging rights.
bragging rights.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the biggest prize.
And a lot of these teams do come back year after year. Actually, of the 4 teams, only one of them is new this year, and so, you know, they all kind of know each other, and it is bragging rights.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Can we, oh, God, I'm failing you guys.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking we should just appoint a spokesperson.
Yeah.
Y'all can-
Yeah, exactly. That was a great idea. Why don't you run with it?
So we have to comment on
Pardon me?
we comment on all
Okay.
the other shows.
This is team 1,
Hi.
Caroline.
Hey, guys.
State.
How are you?
Great, how are y'all?
Please, wants to stand here?
Sure.
Wherever you feel comfortable, I suppose.
Okay,
I like your sweatshirt.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
They all say the same, not just in person.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Well, luckily, we're of the age that we can still read
Here we go.
cursive.
Yeah.
My kids, not so much. They dropped that. Hey, so tell us, what was the inspiration behind y'all's technique and y'all's recipe?
I mean, much like many of our cake recipes, when we were asked to participate in the event, obviously we were thrilled to jump at the opportunity. We pulled from what I grew up with and what my mom grew up with.
Yep.
And we went through her recipe boxes, and she had a huge collection of cookbooks that's covered in bookmarks and dog ears. And, when we had a deli up in Annapolis where Caroline's Cakes first started, this was the chili that we made there, and it's a little different than I think what people might be used to down here, but it's what I've always known as,
Yeah.
in my opinion, the best.
And I'm sorry, you said it and it kind of, I didn't hear it, but where was the deli?
In Annapolis, Maryland.
Annapolis, Maryland, yeah, because the chili was a northeastern style, what we could pick up on, very different than what we're used to down here. And we're also trying to, you know, not be too judgmental based on similar, like what my mom cooked and now what my wife cooks, right? So it's being open to it.
There's there's more herbs in this
Yep.
chili than you might find. I mean, there's dill, there's some flat leaf parsley, oregano, and then what we did, a lot of people will, the traditional sides or condiments for chili, sour cream, cheddar, onion. We wanted you to focus just on the onion on top, which we took and caramelized some of our caramel icing from our cakes, because of course that's what we're famous for. And really wanted to get just sort of a hint of sweetness in there, and not, the first couple tests were like way overpowering. But that's why we sort of just wanted to focus to be primarily on the chili, but then also on that, what I would consider a unique add-on.
And tell us just a little bit on the cooking technique with the meat, because we did notice there's a significant kind of fatty level in the aftertaste. Was that intentional or?
The recipe calls for as much of the fat as possible to be drained, and it is sort of a limitless amount as you add. There's some sweet Italian sausage and then some fairly lean ground chuck in there. I would say if it's an unpleasant amount left over, that's my fault for not draining enough off. It should be, it's kind of that balance between wanting to get a lot of that out of there, but also not wanting to leave a dry chili.
Very good. Well, I'll just say, we enjoyed it. It was a little different, which was fun to try something that's different than what we find here in the deep south. So we really appreciate y'all's effort.
Yeah, sure, the onions were a really nice touch. I really did appreciate that.
Good, good.
Nice touch.
Happy to hear that.
And I apologize. Where is Caroline's Cakes?
So Caroline's, we're over on Beaumont Avenue,
Okay.
right behind Wade's, and we are primarily mail order, so we don't really have, not yet, We don't have a storefront yet, coming soon, 2022.
Okay.
I love that you took your cake, like, inspiration and, like you said, caramelized, those onions, like, I'm a big onion fan, so to see that that was kind of something that you highlighted, I really loved that addition to your show.
I think, like, much like many people say, like, all roads lead back to the upstate of South Carolina, inside the walls of Carolina Estates, all roads lead back to caramel cake. So I want anything we do, I'm gonna try and at least get, if I couldn't caramelize the onions right, I probably just would have gone ahead and sent a slice of cake, which we can do next Saturday.
Perfect, we'll be here.
There we go.
Well, thank you guys so
Oh,
much.
yeah, thank y'all so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is team 2. This is from Spartan Waste.
Hi.
Yes, the
How are y'all?
dynamic duo.
Actually, no, it's her brainchild, but she
Okay.
is a good friend of, yes, the Spartan Waste family.
Gotcha. So tell us a little bit about your inspiration behind the recipe.
So it has just been my recipe that I've had for years that just kind of tweak along the way. They came over for Christmas, I had chili, and Mark was like, hey, can we use your recipe for the chili cook-off? And I'm like, sure. So then he's like, can you make it? I was like, sure. So it's just, she's a green goblin. It is. It's, it has, I like it because it has a lot of cumin in it. I like spicy, I like Mexican. So to me, this chili tastes a little bit more on the Mexican side.
And are you born and raised here in the upstate?
I am.
Okay, we could tell the kind of the heritage of your chili was similar to what we're also used to.
Yes.
So we did enjoy that part of it,
Thank you.
for sure.
For me, I mean, it had the perfect balance of heat and spice as well. The spice was too overpowering, you could still get all the other notes, and I really appreciated that.
Good, thank you.
Just kind of echo what my fellow judges have said. Obviously, with the appropriate spice level, I mean, you could really taste all the different flavors throughout. And then it was just like the consistency of a chili that you would kind of expect here in the South. And so that was very familiar to me.
Good.
And what do y'all do with Spartan Waste?
It is a residential trash service
Yes.
that services the county of Spartanburg,
Yeah.
the county trash is
And
not.
what are y'all's roles with that?
Oh, my husband is one of the owners,
Okay, fantastic.
and she is just one of our.
I'm just a friend. My son works there.
Yeah, her son works there.
6 degrees
So,
of Spartan
yes,
Waste.
that's right. And unfortunately, Mark and Mark, the owners, could not be here because they have been on trucks all day catching up from the snow. So they have just been, they're worn out and we're still on the trucks late this afternoon. So we are here.
Well, thank y'all very much.
Yes, thank you.
Chill.
Okay, team 3. Team 3 is Sodexo, who does our food services.
Hi.
Okay, hey,
How are
what's
you
up?
doing today?
Great, how are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Army of one.
Yes, but if you happen to be here next week, the rest of the army will be here.
Gotcha.
Perfect, I'll be here.
So 2 questions for you. One, what was your inspiration behind the recipe? And second, specifically, what was the protein used and how was it prepared?
Protein's easy.
Yeah.
Ground beef,
Yeah.
hot Italian sausage,
Yeah.
bacon. Few beans, because not a real good chili if you don't have a few beans in it. Inspiration, this is our 10th year, I think? No, 7th year, I forget. I don't even remember how many years we've been doing this now. Last year's feedback from the judges was, it was good, but not quite spicy enough. So I reworked the recipe and kicked up the heat a little bit. So, not kid friendly at all. We won't be giving this to the children at
That's
school.
great.
The
The heat was great. I
PG
really-
version maybe.
I really enjoyed the cilantro on there. That was really.
A little bit of relief for the heat. That's what I was kind of thinking on that.
My immediate thought when I tried, I was like, wow, it's spicy. But it hits after, like, you were very thoughtful in how it was prepared in the sense that you added that freshness of the burnt cilantro and the cheese. So, like I said, I think you're just very thoughtful and although it was a little spicy.
Well, that was kind of the direction that we were given. So, didn't want to fall short on that one this year.
Right.
For real.
We certainly did not.
Well, thank you. Any other questions?
No, it's really good. Thank you.
Great.
And then our fourth team is from the school itself.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey.
How are y'all?
What's up? Good, how are you?
Good. Oh, so here.
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you, right
So.
here.
You can stand wherever. Hey, so you could just start off and just kind of give us, just a real brief, kind of what was the inspiration behind the recipe?
I work at school. I'm over facilities and housekeeping. I've been an educator for 40 years and stuff. Wesley Higdon called, says, we need somebody to make chili for chili cook-off from school, for the school team. And if you want to work Monday, you'll make chili. So I made chili. No. We were asked, my inspiration to be here to make chili was, if you work on our foundation, if you work with Sodexo and the people at our school, including the people who support us through the foundation and the things they do at our school for our kids and stuff, making chili was nothing. That was the easiest thing to do today to help support the students, to support our foundation, and the people who work in that office and things. It was easy to do. She called and I didn't even blink and stuff and everything. She said, we need a team from school and let's go and stuff. So that's my inspiration.
Good, well, I told them I'm a snacker at heart, so that the nice spread of snacks to go with it was right up my alley, but enjoyed it, enjoyed the bacon on there as well, a little bit of different texture. What was it that, one thing that differentiated your chili from the others is there the sweetness level, a little bit sweeter. What's the secret behind that?
Nobody's got a phone. This is being recorded. My wife is a deer and stuff and everything. And we looked through 14 different recipes. And I came up with a couple. We have a daughter who gave us a real simple one. She cooked it. I said, no, that won't do, because we're up against all these folks that know how to cook and things. And we're not great cooks anyway. But she came up with one and she says, you're not gonna like this, but this is one I want to do. And this is one I'm gonna help you with and stuff. I said, okay. Go down on this whole list of ingredients and stuff. It says Hershey bar.
Wow.
There's a Hershey bar in it.
That's neat.
And you have to be a good cook to understand, because I didn't understand. But to put it in a hot pot of chili and stuff with heat and everything, you had to break it into pieces, is what it says, because they're gonna throw the whole thing in. But it does have one Hershey bar.
That's really cool. I've never seen that on a chili recipe. I really appreciate that. That was neat.
I appreciate the creamy and the sweet and it was perfect for a day like today. It is.
Kind of fun, like smoky flavor. And like now that we understand where the creaminess came from, as soon as I took a bite, it just reminded me of a warm blanket. I feel like I was just in a blanket, chilly blanket. So we appreciate it.
Good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It was fun. My wife and I did it. It was good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And now for the big reveal, the judges are going to announce the winner. You can say the team number and they'll step forward.
Put us on the spot.
I know. I was gonna say,
Do you want me,
suddenly they get
do you want me
judged.
to do it?
What was your inspiration for picking a winner?
Wow. Yeah, no. I mean, unless anyone else, I mean, I'm happy to, yeah, I mean, it was tough. Very, very tough, because we enjoyed it wasn't a battle of 4 chilies that were all battling for the same space. It was 4 different styles, 4 very different flavors. And so it really forced us to think about, outside of our comfort zone, which is what we, lean towards, and love the story on the Hershey's bar. Love to hear about the different, proteins used and such, and as well as the first one that we tried that was different from what we're used to here. But overall, I mean, it was super tight scoring, like really tight, and we had some differences between the 3 of us, but we did choose team 2. Yeah, thank y'all.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed all the chilies, and not to take anything away from any others, but that one was the one that we decided was the winner.